Hey guys, Vagentos is back after a long time, and today we're doing a deck profile of Cardfight Vanguard. After a long time, I decided to get back into card games, and today will be my first deck profile in a long time. Today's deck profile will be on Cardinal, Deus, Orfist. So, in case you're coming back to Vanguard as well, so they have consolidated the previous clans into nations. So, Orfist is one of the boss monsters from Brandt, which is used to combine from Nova Grappler, Link Joker, Dimensional Police, all those. So you can see from the art that they are heavily inspired from the Link Joker of the past. Okay, but let's cut out the crap and let's go straight into the deck profile. So let's start with the right deck first. Our boss monster is Cardinal Deus Orfist. So his first skill, during your turn, if you're in Abyssal Dark Knight, this card gets 5k power. So he's always 18k attacker, which requires minimum 10k guard from your opponent for one to pass. Okay, but that's not his main point. I mean 18k is good and shit, but the best part is the second skill. So second skill is if your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, counterblast 2, and you can summon 3 Shadow Army tokens. So in case you are not very familiar with the deck, so the Brandt stuff, they focus on using set orders. So if you used to play Buddy Fight back in the day, it's something similar to your set spells. So you will play these things out, and then once they are on your field, they give you permanent effects. So in the case of Orfist, it will unlock his first ability, will give him 5k power, and it will unlock the second ability, which will be able to summon 3 Shadow Army tokens for counterblast 3 cost. So what is a Shadow Army token? Shadow Army token is a 15k grade 1 with boost. So nothing special, but the special part is it's 15k and you get to summon 3 of it, which is a 45k power boost for your entire field. So there's a few ways to actually, there's two main ways to summon the Shadow Army token. One is with Orfist and another will be with the World Order, which is these cards. So these are the cards that will make it Abyssal Dark Knight for you. So you need 2 of these, and every one of these you need to play it with a cost. So this one is Soul Blast 1, this one is Counter Blast 1. So as long as you have 2 of these on your field, and you can only play once per turn, so you have to play once when you're grade 2 and play once when you're grade 3, and then you'll be set for the Orfist effects and all the other stuff as well. So this is Orfist, simple to use, just Counter Blast 2, summon the Shadow Army tokens, and you'll always be swinging very hard. And now we look at his grade 2. Grade 2 will be Cardinal Draco, Cubisia. So what he does is his Vanguard skill, when you place a set world order on your field, then choose a unit gets 5k power. Okay, and his second skill is continue Rearguard Circle. If your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, this card gets 5k power. So in the Vanguard Circle, he can just buff someone with 5k. So if you are summoning a token early, you can buff the token with 5k, and that will be 20k. So 20k will still be able to hit your opponent even if they check a defensive trigger. That's pretty good. And the other skill allows him to hit as a 15k, so you can form a 30k column together with your Shadow Army token. So if your opponent damage locks you, you can only summon 3 Shadow Army tokens. You can still use him to hit big numbers, 30k. So that's our right deck. And now our grade 1. Yeah, so the grade 1, when you write this card, when this card enters the Vanguard Circle, you search a deck for 1 world order and add it to your hand and then shuffle your deck. So very simple effect, but it allows for consistency in the deck because you need to have 2 world orders to activate most of the skill in the deck. So to have 2, you can search one with this guy, but the other one has to be drawn naturally. But that's why we run in my deck I'll run 8 world orders, and 1 will be searched out by him. So you just need to draw into 1 in 7 of the others. And grade 0, nothing special. All the starters are the same. So when you write on this, if you went second, draw 1 card. Okay, so that's the right deck. Now let's get on to our actual deck. So of course, in any decent deck nowadays, you run 3 copies plus 1 copy in the right deck. So you maximize your boss monster so that you can persona right. So 3 copies of Orfist. And then for our grade 2s, because it's very good for Orfist to rush early so that you can push your opponent when with high power when their damage is high. So you run 3 more copies of the grade 2 right line. So it's a 15k attacker when you're Abyssal Dark Knight. Okay, now for the other grade 2, we're running our new card, Cardinal, Draco, Alviderd. Yep, so this guy is pretty sick. His skill, when you're in Dark Knight, he gets 2k power, and you're in Abyssal Dark Knight, is 5k power. So in layman terms, is if you have one set spell, he's 12k. If you have two set orders, he'll be 15k. So he'll be the same as Cubisia here, 15k attacker. But what makes him special is his second skill. At the end of the battle that this unit attack, you can retire one Shadow Army token to retire one of your opponent's rearguard. So in the first set, Orfist was a very boring deck. You just summon a Shadow Army token and keep attacking with 30k. But now you can do more stuff with your Shadow Army tokens. So in this case, you can retire a Shadow Army token to trade with your opponent's rearguard. And the thing is, because Shadow Army token comes so easily, so it's a very valuable trade with your opponent. So let's say you're playing against Bastion, you can retire his Darkstrain Dragon. Or if you are playing against Zorga, you can retire his boosters or his triggers so that he can't bounce it back to hand. Yeah, so that's the use of this card. You can get rid of any high threat things that you can't hit, especially if they're at the back. So 4 copies of that. So pretty much a staple. So now we move on to the grade 1s. We run 4 copies of this new card as well. Yep. So this is Cardinal, Noid, Thumborino. So Thumborino is a new card in the D-BT02 as well, and this card is very, very awesome. So its ability is when this unit boosts a Shadow Army token, which is one of these guys. So when this card boosts a Shadow Army token, you can activate the ability. So when you activate the ability, it gets additional 15k power, and at the end of the battle, you retire this card and the Shadow Army token. Basically, retire the whole column and you draw one card. Okay, let me just clear up the place. Okay, so the way this works is you can put it in a column and you boost it and you activate the ability. So now it will be a 38k without Persona Right, nothing. So 38k is a very big number. And at the end of the battle, you clear this whole column and you draw one card. So basically, she replenishes herself, but you're losing one Shadow Army token to get 15k power, which is pretty amazing because you can push big numbers with her and you can still retire her to draw cards so that you can protect yourself for one more turn. Moving on to more grade 1s, we run 4 copies of this Bobalmine. So for Bobalmine, his effect is very simple. After this unit boost, you can use the ability, put this into your soul and countercharge one. So countercharge is good in Orfist because Orfist's own ability requires a whopping 2 counter blasts. So with Bobalmine, we can use it a few more times. And we run some other stuff that takes up counter blast as well, which is the set order. So Bobalmine is good, but for more budget players out there, you can use this new card as well. So this new card, which I'm not running, so this card is at the end of the boosting battle, you can retire a Shadow Army token. When this unit attack or boost, retire Shadow Army token and you can countercharge one. So pretty much similar, but because Bobalmine, he will clear himself from your field as well, so he makes up space for other stuff. So you can use it against next turn, or you can use something else next turn. But this girl will stay on the field forever. So, and there's a lot of column hitters nowadays. So or like when you're playing against prison, so you don't really want to have actual units on the field. So Bobalmine would be preferred. But if you're just building Orfist as a secondary deck, maybe you want to focus on something else. But you still want to play Orfist, you can use this instead. You can save some money because Bobalmine is quite expensive because it works in both decks. Okay, moving on to our final grade 1, and surprise surprise, it's just 4 perfect guards. Perfect guards are good, and 4 copies is always required to protect yourself from big numbers. So that's all our actual units. Now let's move on to our world orders. So we run 4 copies of the new world order, which is Eclipsed Moonlight. So what this does is play this with Counterblast 1, then when this spell is played, when this order is played, you can summon a Shadow Army token, which is one of the 15k guys. So the thing is, this is a grade 2 spell, so when you search it out with your grade 1 right line, you can play it on your grade 2 turn, and you have a 15k Shadow Army token, which is a big number, and you can hit your opponent's Vanguard easily. So 4 copies of this, and the other spell we run is Howling Moonlit Night. So this is the the one from D-BT01, cost Soul Blast 1, and when this card is played, you draw 1 card. So it's you can cycle through a deck faster, but otherwise you can just keep it in your hand to discard as a right fodder or perfect guard fodder. So there's another world order, but we do not run it, which is the grade 3 one. So this one is play this with Soul Blast 1, and when this card is played, retire one of your opponent's front row rear guards. So this card is not bad to say, but the thing is drawing 1 card or summoning a Shadow Army token is more often more useful. And if you want to retire something, you have the new guy, which is Alviderd right there. So that guy can do the retiring for you, so we try not to run this card. Anyway, the deck space is quite limited, so we run the 2 best orders, which is draw 1 card or summon a Shadow Army token. Yep. So that's all for our actual cards. Moving on will be our trigger lineup. So we will run 4 crits, 4 Orfist crits, and 4 Trial Deck crits, 8 crits, and of course never leave your home without 4 heals. 4 heals, 3 draws, and 1 Brandt Overtrigger. So in case you don't know what the Brandt Overtrigger does, when you review this, when you check this in your drive check, it's additional effect will proc, so it doubles the power and critical of all your front row monsters. So what it does is it allows your Shadow Army token, which is 15k, it will go to 30k, and it will be 2 criticals, so it will make really big numbers. Personally, I think the Brandt one is one of the strongest because it doubles the power and crit of all the front row. So it works on your Vanguard, it works on your rear guards, works on everything. And if your opponent guards like 2 to pass and your Vanguard is already like 30k power, you just double it and you go through without even pumping the 100 million, and you can give the 100 million to your rear guard, which will double to become 200 million. So it will allow you even if your opponent checks a defensive Overtrigger, he still has to perfect guard that 200 million attack. So it's a must-have. Okay, but however, for draw triggers, so obviously the deck that conserves hand very well because you don't really call monsters unless you're rushing very hard, and because most of the monsters you call is all your Shadow Army token, so you don't really call stuff from your hand. That's why technically draw trigger is not a requirement, but it's good to cycle through a deck faster with your draw trigger so that you can draw into like Thumborino or Alviderd, because without them the deck is quite dead. So draw trigger is my personal preference, but of course you can run the new front trigger as well. New front trigger is a 15k shield front trigger, but when your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, this card gets 5k shield, so it's a 20k shield, which is very good because otherwise 28k attack to your Vanguard, that's usually 20k shield, but which is usually 2 cards because you have to throw a 15k and a 5k, but if you got 20k guard, you can just throw a 20k guard. So this works as well. You can replace the draw trigger, but the crits are very important to pressure your opponent, especially with such big numbers. With critical, it will force them to guard, otherwise they will just take the damage, and then you won't be able to push them as hard. So that's it for the actual deck profile. So let's show some standard combos that we do with the deck. So usually we will have 2 set orders on the field to activate Abyssal Dark Knight, and then we can have Bobalmine, Thumborino, Alviderd. Cubisia is not required, but sometimes. Okay, so let's say we have 2 set orders on the field, so this will trigger our Abyssal Dark Knight, and then our Vanguard will be Orfist, and we have 1 Alviderd, yep, and 1 Thumborino. So this is the first combo. So with these 2 cards, and you can trigger Orfist's ability to summon 3 Shadow Army tokens. So this is your standard field setup, and you can attack with your Vanguard first, so that you can pump the trigger to the sides. Okay, then after that you attack with whichever side you prefer. So this side will hit for 38k, which is 48k with trigger. Then if you persona right, it's gonna be 58k. Then after that you retire these 2, and you can draw 1 card to replenish your hand. Okay, and then you can attack with Alviderd, and after that you can retire the booster or the Vanguard booster, depending on which one you prefer, and retire 1, and you can retire one of your opponent's rear guard. So you end up clearing the field. So there's nothing much for your opponent to take away from you. Like if they want to prison, they can take one guy, or if they want to retire, they can retire one guy. And if they want to hit columns, there's pretty much only one column to hit. Another combo you can do is standard. If you're not pushing to end the game, you can choose not to use Thumborino. You can use Bobalmine instead. So it will be the exact same field setup, but you can use Bobalmine to put into your soul and counter charge one. So same thing. Vanguard will attack first, and then Bobalmine will attack, will boost and attack, and you will go into your soul to counter charge one. So that's the two main combos of the deck, and the main thing on the deck is you should try and push your opponent when he's already when you are on your grade 2, and so that when you are on your grade 3 you can force him to guard the big attacks instead of just taking damage. That's the gist of the deck. Overall, I think Orfist is pretty fun deck. You get to play with the Shadow Army tokens. It wasn't as fun in the first set because first set doesn't really interact with the Shadow Army tokens much. So overall, I think this deck is pretty strong, but of course we have to wait to see how it will do in tournaments because most of the deck has some pretty big changes nowadays. So yeah, that's it for my Orfist deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like down below and subscribe if you wish to see more of such videos. Stay tuned to my channel for the next deck profile, which is going to be a Hex Sword or Magnolia deck profile, which I'm still working on currently. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!